All right, guys, as you can see, this is the drone that was at the bottom of a pond. I stripped all the guts out of it. Right here, I have to copy the wiring. I bought all the identical parts. This I had extra, which happens to be the flight controller. And I have to wire that and all that. But first, we have to put the motors on. So I'm gonna clean up the frame a little bit. And then we'll put the ESC on, which is the bigger board down here. I'll solder that on, and then I'll put the motors on, and then that's when I connect this, and we'll go from there. So enjoy this little time lapse while I do all this. Alright guys, as you can see, the drone ESC is soldered in place. It's not my best work, but it is solid. Every one of these are solid in. I don't think they're going to break loose anytime. I overcooked a few of them, but you know, it is what it is. As long as it doesn't smoke when I plug it in, we'll be alright. There's a good spacing between all of them. I just got to tape the wires down. Got to put the FC on and then start to wire that up. So alright guys, while you were gone, I soldered these wires on, copying this board as best I can. I was going to add like the other S-Bus and all that other stuff that I have no idea what it means, but I figure why not just copy it exactly. It worked well before. So that's the receiver, the RX. That'll allow me to get signal to my drone. And the next part is going to be the video portion, which will be strapped up here somewhere, going out the ass of the drone. Alright, I'll catch up with you when I'm done. Alright guys, we're back. I soldered on the VTX and the RX. Got those all set in, the board's set. The only thing I'm missing is my camera. It comes in Thursday, so the build's kind of going to be postponed for now. I got a new camera. It is the Runcam Phoenix 2 Joshua edition. Joshua Bardwell, if you don't know. Basically, I just got to solder on these 3 wires, and then it's going to be the first smoke test. We're going to plug in this pigtail and hope it doesn't set off alarms or anything. Guys, and there we have it. The camera's wired in. I got a little extra wire. I'm gonna tuck up front and make it lay flat across here. Make it look like that. I got the VTX and the TX right here. So now's the moment of truth. I'm gonna go grab a battery real quick, plug this thing in, and see if it smokes. That's what this is for, though. This right here is called a smoke stopper. Hopefully, by me doing this, when I plug it in, it'll go through the startup sequence and not set off a buzzer. If it sets off a buzzer, it's bad. And I'm using a Funfly 4S 100C. It's a 1550. It's a good little battery. It's a good like training pack. Moment of truth. One, two, three. And it's solid. It's good to go. No smoke. Green light, no buzzer. Green light would shut off if it was bad. That tells me everything's done. It's all done correctly. So now I can safely plug this into my PC and go into the next portion of this. I'll come back when I get this all cleaned up here. Alright guys, now we're going to start the next process of binding this transmitter to the receiver. So then I'm going to go up and to bind. And we're just going to go telemetry off because that's where it was. Switch. There we go. Now it's trying to bind. So now the hard part. Sorry for bumping that. I have to push down a little button on the back half right here. As I plug in the battery. Hey guys, as you can tell, that's a green LED. You can't really tell, but the blue light makes it look green. See, look, or blue light makes it look blue. But yeah, it's a green light. It's bound. It's synced up to the controller. I got a signal right there. Telemetry. Can't wait. All right, so the problem was I had to create a specialty plug right there and plug that into the receiver because it's all old and outdated like my whole system is because it's using ACCST instead of the Access stuff. Whole big old thing. If you don't know what it means, it's not a huge deal. Basically, this is an old controller. This is a newer thing, and this is an old setup. Had to plug it into the back of the controller and do a whole custom wiring thing and update the firmware to an older version. I tried updating it to 2022 at first, got really mad. I thought it was just broke. Used an older firmware, boom, works, no problem. It's bound, I'm happy. Let's go. The next part, I have to go through and reconfigure all this, and I'm not gonna bore you with all that stuff. I'll just come back when I'm testing things after I've set everything up, so that way it's not a pain in the butt. Alright guys, so I managed to figure it out finally, got it all programmed, set up. I made it more complicated than I needed to get it set up. Basically, long story short, it's been about 14 hours, and it took me 2 hours to figure it out. I think I just overworked myself with building the whole thing and trying to get it all done in one day. But I will plug this thing in. Got your normal load up tunes. I got my telemetry. Also, I'll show you this too. Don't mind the reflection.
Welcome to OpenTS.
Mr. Cody 24 logo.
Switch warning.
Alright, so as you can see, beeper works when I hit my switch. That's also my pre-arm switch. If I hit the pre-arm switch and then the activation, it'll go. I don't want to move it too much, as in I might fry something, so I'm just doing that limited. But then it's got that, and if I flip this forward, it's crash flip. It's all programmed. The next part of this video that you see will be me flying, and that'll be GoPro footage.
Even when you feel low, you can still go. Even when you feel slow, you can still go. Even when there's no hope, you can still go. I never answer to no, man, I still go. Go, 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 yo, go, go, go. Hustle hard, hustle every single day. I'll be making moves till I'm buried in my grave. To the system, I don't wanna be a slave. I've been doing shit my way. go.